Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to work on installment number 6 of A Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the last straw. So we're just going to jump right in. Saturday. The other day Dad found Manny's blanket, Tingy, on the couch. I don't think Dad knew what it was, so he threw it away. Ever since then, Manny's been turning the house upside down looking for his blanket, and finally Dad had to tell him that he accidentally threw it out. Manny? Well, Manny got his revenge on yesterday by using Dad's Civil War battlefield as a playset. Manny's been taking his anger out on everyone else too. Today, I was sitting on the couch just minding my own business when Manny walked up and said, "Ploopy." I didn't know if "ploopy" was some kind of little kid bad word or what, but I didn't like the sound of it. So I went to find Mom and asked her if she knew what "ploopy" meant. Unfortunately, Mom was on the phone, and when she's gabbing with one of her friends, it takes forever to get her attention. Finally, I got Mom to stop talking for a second, but she was mad that I interrupted her. I told her that Manny called me "ploopy," and she said, "What's a ploopy?" That kind of threw me for a second because it's the exact question I was trying to ask her. I didn't have an answer, so Mom just went back to her conversation. After that, Manny knew he had the green light to call me "ploopy" whenever he wanted, and that's exactly what he's been doing all day. I guess I should have known telling on Manny wasn't going to get me anywhere. When me and Roderick were little, we used to tell on each other so much that it made Mom crazy. So she bought this thing called the Tattle Turtle to solve our problems. Mom came up with the Tattle Turtle idea when she taught preschool. The idea behind the Tattle Turtle is that when me and Roderick had problems with each other, we went to the Tattle Turtle instead of Mom. Well, the Tattle Turtle worked great for Roderick, but not so much for me. Easter. On the car ride to church today, I felt like I was sitting on something sticky, and when I got out, it turned out that on the back of my pants there was chocolate all over them. Manny brought his Easter bunny with him in the car, and I must have been sitting on its ear or something. Mom was trying to get the family inside so we could get good seats, but I told her there was no way I was going in there looking like that. I knew Holly Hills and her family were probably already there, and I really didn't want her wondering if I had pooped my pants. Mom said skipping church on Easter wasn't an option, and we argued back and forth. Then Roderick chimed in with his solution. He can wear my pants. Roderick knows that church on Easter is always at least 2 hours long, so he was just looking for an excuse to get out of it. But right at that moment, Dad's boss and his family pulled into the parking lot alongside us. Mom made Roderick put his pants back on, and then she gave me her sweater to tie around my waist. I don't know which one is worse, wearing dress pants with chocolate all over them, or wearing Mom's pink sweater like a kilt. Church was pretty full. The only seats that were empty were right up in front where Uncle Joe and his family were sitting, so we sat right next to them. I looked around and I spotted Holly Hills and her family 3 rows back. I was pretty sure she couldn't see what I was wearing from the waist down, so that was a relief. As soon as the music started up, Uncle Joe reached out to hold hands with me and his wife, and he started singing. I tried to break free a couple of times, but Uncle Joe had an iron grip. The song was only a minute long, but to me, it felt like half an hour. After the song was over, I turned to the people behind us and pointed at Uncle Joe and made a cuckoo sign so that everyone knew I wasn't on board with his hand holding. Somewhere in the middle of church, they passed the basket around so people could give money to help the needy. I didn't have any money of my own, so I whispered to Mom to see if she would give me $1. Then, when the basket came to me, I made a big deal about putting $1 in the basket so Holly could see how generous I was. But when I put the money in the basket, I realized Mom gave me a 20 and not a single. I tried to grab the basket to make change, but it was too late. All I can say is I better get some points in heaven for that donation. I've heard that when you do good deeds, you're supposed to be all private about it, but that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If I start hiding my good deeds, I'm sure I'll just regret it later on. Like I said before, the Easter service was super long. One of the songs went on for about 5 minutes, and I started looking for ways to entertain myself. Excuse me. That way, the way that Roderick keeps himself busy when he's bored is by picking the scab on the back of his hand that he never lets heal. But I'm not really interested in going that route. Manny has it made in church. Mom and Dad bring all sorts of stuff with us to keep him entertained. Believe me, Mom and Dad never let me bring anything to church when I was his age. Mom and Dad always baby Manny though. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Last week, Manny was at preschool and he opened his lunchbox and his sandwich was cut in half, not in quarters, the way he likes it. Manny threw a huge temper tantrum, and the teachers had to call Mom. So she left work and drove all the way down to Manny's school to make an extra slice. Anyways, I was thinking about this at church, and all of a sudden, I got an idea in my head. I leaned over to Manny, and I whispered, "Puppy." Well, Manny completely lost it. He started bawling. Everyone in the church turned their heads our way. Even the minister stopped talking to see what was going on. Mom couldn't calm Manny down, so we had to leave. Instead of walking out the side door, though, we walked right down the center aisle. I tried to look as cool as possible when we walked past the Hills family, but it was pretty tough considering the circumstances. The only person more embarrassed than me was Dad. Dad tried to cover his face with the church bulletin, but his boss spotted him and gave Dad a thumbs up on the way out. Wednesday. Things have been pretty tense around the house since the mess the other day. First of all, Mom was really mad at me for calling Manny Ploopy, so I had to remind her that she didn't have any problem when Manny said it to me. So Mom banned the word for everyone, and she said that if anyone was caught saying it, they'd be grounded for a week. But of course, it didn't take long for Roderick to find a loophole. This isn't the first time Mom has banned us from using certain words in the house. A while back, Mom made a no swearing rule because Manny was picking up new words left and right. Every time someone said a bad word in front of Manny, they had to put $1 into his swear jar. So Manny was getting rich off me and Roderick. And when Mom upped the ante by banning words like stupid and jerk and stuff like that. To keep from going bankrupt, me and Roger came up with a bunch of code words that meant the same thing as the banned words, and we've been using them ever since. Spooky stork is one of them. Once in a while, I forget to switch back when I get to school and end up looking dumb. Just today, David Nestor spit out a piece of gum and it landed in my hair. I really let loose with everything I had, but I don't think I upset David too much. Raspberry plastic tickle bear. The other thing that's changed since Easter is that Dad has been on me in Roderick's case. I guess he's tired of us looking bad in front of his boss, Mr. Roaring. Dad made Roderick enroll in SAT class, and he made me sign up for rec league soccer. Soccer tryouts were tonight. The coaches lined up all the kids for a skills test, where you had to dribble the ball between some cones and stuff like that. I tried my best, but I got ranked pre-alpha minus, which I'm pretty sure is just an adult code word for you stink. After the skills test, they put us on different teams. I was hoping I'd get one of those fun coaches who doesn't take sports too seriously, like Mr. Proctor or Mr. Gibb, but I got the worst out of the whole bunch, Mr. Litch. Mr. Litch is one of these drill sergeant types who likes to yell a lot. Mr. Litch used to be Roderick's coach, and he's pretty much the reason Roderick doesn't like sports anymore. Anyway, our first real practice is tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll just get cut so I can go back to playing video games. Twisted Wizard 2 is supposed to come out soon, and I heard it's awesome. I got put on a team with a bunch of kids I really don't know. The first thing Mr. Litch did was hand out uniforms, and then he told us to come up with a team name. I suggested that we call our team the Twisted Wizards and get the Game Hut to sponsor us. Nobody liked the idea though. One kid said that we should call the team Red Sox, which I thought was a terrible idea. Number one, Red Sox were a baseball team, and number two, our soccer uniforms were blue. But of course, everyone else loved the idea, and that's the name that won out. Then the assistant coach, Mr. Boone, said that he was worried that if we called our team the Red Sox, we might get sued. I'm pretty sure those guys have better things to do than to go around suing middle school soccer teams, but like I said before, nobody wanted to listen to my opinions. So the team voted to change the name to the Red Sox, and that was final. After that, we started practice. Mr. Litch said Mr. Boone made us run laps and do leg lifts and a bunch of other stuff that had nothing to do with soccer. In between wind sprints, I hung out by the water cooler with the other two pre-alpha minus guys. Every time we were slow getting back to the field, Mr. Lynch would yell, "Get your butts over here." Me and the other guys thought it would be pretty funny if the next time Mr. Lynch said that all of us would run back to him with our butts sticking out. So the next time Mr. Lynch yelled at us to get our butts over there, I ran with my rear end pointed out, but the other guys hung me out to dry. Mr. Lynch did not appreciate my sense of humor and made me run 3 laps. When Dad picked us up at the end of practice, I told him that maybe soccer isn't my thing, and maybe it's not such a good idea, and he should probably just let me quit. That made Dad pretty mad, so he said, "No son of mine is a quitter." Which isn't really all that true. I'm a huge quitter, and so is Roderick. And I think Manny is on his 3rd or 4th preschool by now. Anyway, I got the feeling that if I'm going to get out of soccer, I'm going to have to think of another angle. And that's been 22 pages, so we're going to stop it right here. And I hope to see you guys in our next video, which will be installment number 7 of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw.